Welcome back. I'm Udar Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX's continuous coverage of the conflict in the Middle East. The US and Israel have, of course, struck Iran. Iran is now retaliating. We've seen the conflict spread. And joining us now to discuss this is well-known actor Mandana Karimi. She, of course, does hail from Iran. Mandana, welcome. Thank you very much for being with us today on NewsX.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let me begin by asking you about what your first reaction was. Of course, you know, the tensions had been building up between the US and Iran for a while. Negotiations were happening, but they weren't going anywhere. When you heard of that strike, which did eliminate Khamenei and many of the Iran senior leadership and IRGC leadership, when it finally happened by the US and Israel, what was your first reaction?
Well, to be honest, as an Iranian, we've dealt with this regime for 48 years, and all this negotiation, we knew that it's not going to go anywhere. That was the first thing that we knew it. But we were just hoping that, again, we hoped that Trump wouldn't be the same way Obama and the other president of USA were, where they released funds to Iranian regime, and again, we were back to the square one. So we were hoping and actually also we don't call it war, we call it a mission. What do you call it? A mission to save Iranians. This is not a war. We asked the USA's help, we asked Israel's help, and obviously when it happened, you don't want to see your country to be attacked by anyone. But for us, it was a rising of hope. It was rising of a hope that finally this regime is going to be destroyed and we can go back to our country.
Yes. What made you happy at the news that Khamenei had been eliminated in this strike? What made you and many other Iranians across the world celebrate that moment?
As I'm sure you've seen the videos of women dancing on their family members who they've lost their life. Our celebration, it has become a part of our revolution. It's a marking of a nation who has mourned so much for so many years, and it has become a symbol of resistance for us, because in Iran you're not allowed to dance, you're not allowed to sing, and there's a lot of reason behind it. But for us, dancing and celebrating this moment is the symbol of our resistance towards this regime. And the fact that, sometimes when you're emotional, you laugh and you cry at the same time, because there has been so much of emotion that you could not talk about it or you could not release, and suddenly you hear the news that we thought 2 months ago, Khamenei being dead, it was a dream. And suddenly when we hear the news, of course we're going to celebrate.
Yes. Also, though now there is news coming that Mojtaba Khamenei, that is his son, has been made the new supreme leader of Iran. What do you make of that news, and what does it convey of the outlook of the Supreme Council and the establishment, the Islamic regime in Iran, who obviously do not want this change that you want, that the US and Israel are seeking either?
See, we are not surprised by the way they have behaved in past few days or in past many years. We are not surprised. As the Iranians, we exactly know what this regime has been doing for so many years. But the fact that they still believe, or they still think, by putting his son in his place is going to change anything, it won't. It's not going to change anything. And people are not talking about making things better or having a new person who's running the regime. We want this regime to go. There is no other way. And as Trump also had an announcement, he said, it doesn't matter how many people they got put in power, this regime has to go. And as you know, in the first day of war, a lot of their main people from the regime, they were killed. And we are not surprised that this regime is putting up a fight and started attacking the entire Middle East. We are not surprised by the way this regime has acted, because this regime is run by a bunch of lunatics, bunch of crazy people who they do not negotiate. And by the way, the time that they were negotiating, they were just buying time. Because at the same time, when their official was in the offices in Geneva, in Yemen, and everywhere else, their Khamenei in Iran was doing an announcement and saying that death to America. So what kind of a negotiation is that? So we are not surprised by the regime, but and we are so thankful to Trump and Israel that has attacked this regime, and hopefully soon they're gonna kind of, I don't know, open their eyes or
yes.
change their mind
How
or
is
come to
this
their
regime
senses.
change then going to happen? Do you believe it will happen with people coming out onto the streets, or do you believe it will happen by boots on the ground
Yeah.
by the US?
Yes. So no, yes and no, because see, any revolution has. I'm talking about Iran. I'm not talking about any other country. A revolution, a country like Iran, so many years you've heard it. The Mahsa Amini movement. There are a lot of movement that has happened, right? People have come to the street and they've shown that they don't want this government. But unfortunately, because we were empty-handed, right? So we could not change the regime. Again and again, they did a negotiation with different countries. The sanction came on the country. The people got suppressed again and again and again. And finally, now people have risen. So people have already been on the street. And as you know, January 8th and 9th, there were millions of people in streets of Iran. And now the help that America and Israel promised the Iranians has reached Iran. So the hope that we have, these two have already has happened. The last point would be when USA and Israel and Reza Shah Pahlavi will tell people, okay, now it's the right time to go to on the street and take back our country. So
Yes.
it's a matter of time. See, also I want to add something to this. This attack by Israel and America has been very calculated.
Yes.
It's not just they're attacking Iran and they're bombing everywhere. They want the regime to fall down, and that's how they've been attacking. So they know
Yes.
there is going to be a time that Iranians can go on the street and take back their country.
Okay. Well, now coming to your childhood, Mandana, how was your childhood in Iran? Take us through those growing up years, and what made you leave Iran?
See, this regime has stolen my childhood and thousands other Iranians' childhood. When I was, I have said in my other interviews as well, imagine you're 14 years old and you're in a park, you're doing your project, and just because one of your friends, her Maknai as we call, the Scot, has gone back, and they took us to the police station and they called our parents to come and, take us back home. Imagine as a 14 years old, when you want to have a free life, when you're doing your homework, you get arrested by a police. And the breaking point for me was when I was 17 years old, and I got arrested, and the arrest wasn't official. They kept us in a cell for 3 days, and while finally we thought that we've been released, this guy comes and says, "Oh, we've done a revolution. This is an Islamic country. I'm not going to let you guys go like this." And he gave 75 lashes to all of us, and they made me watch my own friends to get lashes. For me as a teenager, I could not live in that country anymore, and I didn't have support of my family. I didn't speak any English. I left the country. I literally left the country with however I could, because just imagine a girl like me. It could be Mahsa Amini. It could be the 1,000 girls that we still don't know where their bodies are.
Yes, yes. And do you believe they were developing that nuclear bomb? As Trump has been warning, were they working on that nuclear weapon according to you? Children in Iran, as you yourself have said, are taught from a young age, death to America, death to Israel. Do you believe there was a danger of them potentially attacking Israel and US in the future with that nuclear weapon if it was developed?
Of course. I state this as an Iranian girl who has lived in Iran. In Iran, from the age of 8 or 9 that I remember, how many times I was punished by not wearing my hijab properly. Even when I was a kid, I used to have this yellow favorite dress. They didn't allow me to wear that, and I got punished. This is I think I was 8. And if you look at it, the way this government is and has trained kids in such a young age to hate a nation, in our school in the morning, this is how we start our day. We go to the garden area and we say, death to America, death to Israel, Allahu Akbar, death to British, and death to so many other countries. Imagine, and in our history books that we have in Iran, they have made our history into an Arab country history. We are not Arab,
right.
We are Persian. And that's the training this regime does
Yes.
to the young
But-
kids.
but then,
So
Mandana,
you
what
either
do-
lucky like me that you can come out of the country
Yes,
and
but
you
then
actually
what do you
realize
make,
that-
Mandana?
Sorry?
What do you make though of these protests though that even we saw in India, you know, in Jammu Kashmir, in Mumbai, in Lucknow, in Uttar Pradesh, other parts of the country, you know, mourning coming you know, against US and Israel.
Yeah.
What did you make of those protests?
See, I've been fighting this battle for many years, and in India also I've been very vocal about it. Since January until now, I've been trying again and again to have a candlelight, a peaceful protest in Bombay. I did not get a permission. I don't know the reason of it, but my personal opinion on it is this. These kind of people who have gone to the streets in Delhi, in Bangalore, in a lot of other places, these Muslims, I want to tell them two things. First, which organization or which terrorist groups you are part of. Who's paying you this? Who's getting you this permission? Because I couldn't get the permission, and I didn't want to chant death to anyone. I wanted to light a candle in the memory of the people that I've lost in my country in January. First. Second, I want them to pack their bag and go to Iran and live in Iran as a citizen. Let me see, as a woman or even as a guy, can they survive and sustain there in Iran even for a week? Can they do that? And if you don't, and if you were quiet until now about what happened in January 8th and 9th, why are you talking now? That time also a lot of children died, a lot of Muslim people died,
Yes.
and now Iranian regime is attacking Muslim countries as well. So you don't have a reason to talk about that, but you're talking about Khamenei and how sad you guys are. So what it shows me and a lot of other Iranians that they are part of the biggest propaganda of this regime,
Okay.
where they've been paid to talk about Islam. Oh, you're attacking Islamic country, or you're attacking Muslims.
Yes.
This is not a Muslim war. This is the war against the Iranian regime, not even against Iranian
Yes,
people.
I can see though that you love your country because
course.
you have the flag on your T-shirt as well today,
Of course.
very proudly. Do you hope to go back to Iran one day? Are you hopeful of that in the near future, Mandana?
Of course, who doesn't love their country? Who doesn't want to thrive in their country? And my people have left their country to survive. And we are a nation filled by so much of love, so much of respect. We are creative, we are intelligent, we have doctors, engineers. And of course, the moment this regime is out and I can go back to my country and Reza Shah Pahlavi, now we have a leader. We can go back with our leader and build up our country. And I am praying and I'm wishing for that day. It's going to come very soon. That my people and my country would be free. And again, our flag is going to be changed and go back to the original one.
Okay. Okay. My final question to you: what appeal would you like to make? You're on a big platform today. What appeal would you make to the U.S. government, to Israel, and to the Indian government?
Well, first of all, I want to start by saying to Mr. Trump and the entire Israeli teams and people who are risking their own life to save my people. I have a lot of respect for you guys. I send love, respect, and thank you. Thank you, Mr. Trump. Thank you, Bibi. Thank you so much. And getting back to Mr. Modi and Indian government, because Indian government exists, and India is such a safe place. I cannot talk about the details of what I'm going through right now. I'm in a safe house. I've been, I have a lot of problems right now. If India wasn't safe, if this government, the way Narendra Modi ji has supported its citizens and also people who are living in India, I would not be safe. So I just want to say thank you so much for Indian government, and thank you so much for keeping me safe.
All right. Well, Mandana, we do
and
hope.
Hopefully on the same platform next time I'm going to be in Iran, and you're going to be part of the happy celebration. And
We hope for that. We hope for that. Absolutely. We certainly hope for that you will be able to go back to your homeland sooner rather than later. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you
You're
so
very
much.
passionate.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your informed, passionate, and of course, perspective on the current conflict. All right. Let's take a break. Much more coming up on the other side.